in the mark of an hour, and that is all we intend to spend anyways. So officially, let me welcome you to this meeting. My name is Omotola Azeez. I am officially the moderator, and I am a product designer as well. Extraordinaire, please. I am an illustrator and a food enthusiast. So next up, I think we should actually say a big thank you to the host, Devcheque. For people that do not know what Devcheque is a platform that is filled with. It is a team of digital solution providers. That's the literal, thing that they do. They offer comprehensive services that meets your need from conceptualization to deployment. The team handles every stage of development, allowing you to focus totally on marketing and, reaching your global audience effortlessly. So all you have to do is bring your ideas and they turn them to reality for you. Now, moving forward, we have two speakers in the house to discuss the theme of today. So first off, we have Adegbobye Olutade. I am sure I got that right. And we have Bolaji Akangbe. Olutade is a product designer, and he has been designing for about 4 years. I think I got that right. He's a WordPress, Webflow, Wix, Squarespace, and Shopify developer. He's an absolute gentleman who knows his onions, and one day I hope I get there. Now, second and not least is Bolaji Akangbe. He is a product designer extraordinaire, and he has been in the game for about 3+ years. He specializes in brand identity design, UX research, UI design, promotional graphics, and Webflow development. He is a Real Madrid fan. I know a lot of people do not know that, and he's a lover of music. He is a nightingale, but do not let him set foot in the studio. Please let it remain in the four walls of the bathroom. So now, to not waste our time too much, then I introduce the theme of the day, that is content first design, building around your story. Well, if you had to ask me what I feel or think about content first design, I think that is your design process, right from UX research to designing. Now, the term building around your story is a concept that emphasizes the importance of narrative and purpose in the birth of your creations. It means that your choices should be driven by a clear and compelling story rather than just, aesthetics or just functionality alone. Like, you have to move beyond simply creating something visually appealing or maybe crafting something that's experiences that people can use, but it has to be experience that resonates on a deeper level with people. So without further ado, let me leave it to our speakers. But in any point in time that anyone has a message or a question or a comment, you are free to actually use the chat box. So I'm handing over right now to the first speaker, and that is in person of Bolaji Akangbe. Thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Omotola. Thank you everyone for joining us today. So today, without wasting much of our time, let's just get straight to the business of the day. So basically, content first design is something that we need to consider a lot when we are building any product or any brand. So because the content we are building or the content we are thinking about or that we want to use is something that we actually build the foundation of our products. So so you see recently we've been seeing some brands big brands like Meta, which they rebrand a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, that they're not just Facebook anymore. They want to build a different sphere, a different ecosystem for their brand. They're not just Facebook, they're not just Instagram, but they are Meta. Now they are using AI to to tell more about their brand story and everything. So everything is all about engagement. They want people to know more about their product, about who they are and what they do. So basically, I want us to look at this, and I want us to I just need anyone to talk from the audience and say something about this. What do you focus on first when designing content or the visual part of it? Anyone can talk, please. Hello?
Anybody?
Just click on.
Miss Amina said visual.
Visual, nice one. Okay, nice one. We all see today. So by looking at this particular one, by looking at these two forms, which do you think will cause friction for this product? We have the first one, which by the 8th side, we have full name, company or option. We have city there, which has a drop down menu, and we have the submit button, and we have the B part of it, which has the full name, the city with the drop down menu, and the submit. Which one do you think will cause friction here for the user to feel? Anyone?
Miss Aminat is going with A. And I think I'm leaning towards that direction too.
Exactly. It will cause friction because if it is not part of your product, if you know that you don't want your users to think before they do anything with your product or before they interact with your product, then do not add that particular content to your product. Imagine me seeing this kind of form and I want to fill my full name, and you have option to your company, like part of the data you want to collect from me as a user. You have this particular one to be optional, which is the company. I will think twice, should I add my company or should I not? I'm thinking already. You're wasting my time for like 3 or 2 seconds of my time thinking about what to do with your product. So why not just ask me what you need? So this is part of it. So why content first? Why do we think of content first before we even think of any other thing? That we say content first design. Content drives engagement, clarity, and trust for any platform. So recently, I did a quick case study for Kuda. Kuda is a fintech company in Nigeria. So on their platform, So as I was saying, on their platform, they have this particular information, which is the message that conveying to the users coming to their platform using their product for the first time. This is like the betting feature of their products. So if I entered my user ID, this is the response I will get. Sorry, we couldn't retrieve your user ID. Please try again. This message is not clear. So, and they have it that I should enter my user ID. I entered my user ID of my betting platform and they said it is not correct. So they did not direct me to the next thing to do. They are not conveying the message clearly to me enough to understand what to do as the user using their platform. So I went ahead and I did some research and I did something. Okay, now instead of you saying the user using your platform should enter their user ID, why not just telling them to enter their username or phone number? Because after the whole research and everything back and forth, we discovered that by entering your phone number instead of your user ID, everything will work perfectly. So what I did these days, I worked on something that around quick research of UX research, that if we have auto validation that tells the users that instead of as they are entering their user ID, which is their username, there should be auto validation that says that try your phone number if that one does not work, or something. If I enter my username and I enter my phone number and the two are not correct, then I should get this kind of message that we couldn't find username or phone number linked to your betting account. So it should be clear enough for me to know what is going on, whether I need to double check my entries. So, and I also added something to enhance the content of this platform in a way that it will educate the users on proper inputs. For instance, we have a tooltip here which communicates the meaning of this particular input field for users to know what to fill there. So that's how important of having a clear content where as your features for your products. So now, if most of us here, we are familiar with Medium and Wise to say, so these particular two brands are telling beautiful stories with their products. So in terms of colors, in terms of engagement with their products and all. So good design tells a story. Bad design convinces users. That's just it. We can do more to like check more about this particular product, check their socials and all, check their main product. You can interact with it. to see what I'm talking about. So one of the things that we need to consider when we are talking about content first design is that we need to work on the structure of our content, how we structure things for our users to digest, to say. So we should be able to break down our information into digestible sections for users to say. So when I enter Medium, the first thing I'm seeing is not even the color I'm seeing. I'm seeing the state curious. I'm seeing the heading first. Then I'm seeing the subheading, and I'm seeing the other flows. Look at it, they have the heading communicating what they do, and they have this M here, Medium, the initial of their brand, which is kind of a like pattern for their products. They did not even use image here. So, and they have other flow which says they're trending on Medium, what's trending on their platform. So these people, they've structured the content in a way that they want users to understand the flow, the whole thing, to digest it and understand why they put this kind of information outside. So also, when we are talking of content design and we are talking of content design, the part the data play in storytelling is very important in our content, because that will inform whatever we do. Imagine me visiting your website, and I just visit your website. At the end of it, you don't know anything about me, you don't know who visited your website or anything. But when you have some kind of back-end information about me, without me even knowing that, okay, this website I just visited, they've collected my information. It is not a bad thing. This is analytics part. So we have Google Analytics, we have Mixpanel, we have a lot of them that can track users on your websites. So users using your website, they enter your website, they do something. Once they do something, you know what they do. For instance, an e-commerce website, when they reach a checkout, they stop. Why they stop? You need to know why they stopped. If any type of website, any form, once you add this kind of back-end information, you can use that one to like drive content or generate what you need to use to target your customer and also your potential customers to say. So one of the things that we need to consider while we are talking of content first design is that we need to consider research a lot. So I'm not talking about just interviewing ordinary people using your products. I mean, interview real users to gather real insights about your products. Because imagine Kuda, from the work I've done based on my case study, they've actually tried to like look at that particular part of their product. They've engaged the real users, and I think which they do, but if they actually engage the real users, they must have like told them what they need to do, whether this particular feature is working properly or not. So that content is kind of misleading and it's not engaging enough. So when you engage the real users, you can also do something we call heuristic evaluation, which you gather 3 to 5 UX designers together to check your product, to see what's working, and to give you feedback on what to like improve on based on some UX principles. So now we have something here to build around your story. You have to put this framework together in one basket, and this framework is what we've been talking about since. And here's the framework. So a simple framework for content-driven design. So we need to start from research to content, which is the UX part of the our research, because from research you gather something. So looking at this thing clockwise direction, we have research, content, we have design. So our content is from research, while our design is coming from the content. Then when we add all these things together, we have design. The next thing to do is to test what we've put together. Then we test with real users to like get feedback. When we get feedback, we improve on that feedback, like we iterate more. Then we go back to research. This thing goes like this. So if you like implement this kind of framework to our product, I think we'll be able to ship more better content that we tailor, that we like address the pain points of our users properly. So thank you. Without taking much of our time, we've reached the end of this presentation. Thank you so much. Yeah, once you have any questions, we can ask.
Definitely. That is an amazing presentation. Honestly, you would think you know everything until someone is telling you or showing you this is how things can be done better or effectively. And I am actually, very pleased with that presentation. So before we actually entertain questions, because, we will definitely have questions. But before we take questions, I would love it for Mr. Olutade to go next. Then, we can now do the question session after. Thank you. And please, Mr. Olutade, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Good evening once again. Depending on your location, just accept my good evening as your, just convert it to your location. If They are not in Nigeria. Yeah. So thanks for joining us. I will share my screen now to. Okay. Can we see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So sorry. Okay. So let's just go straight into it. So designing for clarity. So well, the topic has its own what's it called, variety, because we are definitely talking about putting content first, like focusing on content, like knowing the idea, or putting your mind on what exactly is in your design, and the things that people are going to see when you are actually designing. Do you understand? So this is like a sub what's it called, for further details about it, because for us to actually design, our design has to be, for the purpose of, clarity, for it to be clear and everyone should be able to access it, for conversion, because most websites or most web app, it's serving for something. Even if it's an NGO, it's actually serving for something. So you are using it actually for conversion, and you have to put the content first. So something, the things inside it, even if a website looks, or a app looks very, 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 what's it called, fine, but if you can't navigate yourself around it, then you are going to hate it. It's as simple as that. So designing for proper conversion and content first mindset. So let's just talk about content strategy, because for you to actually put what's it called, this your design into making it to convert, to bring in customers, to ease or solve the problem of your clients, you need to actually put in a strategy. So in UI UX, content strategy refers to the planning, the creation, and the management of content within a digital product to enhance user experience. It ensures that content is useful, meaningful, accessible, helping the users navigate, understand, and interact with interface seamlessly. So for you to actually build a web app, or a normal app, or a website, you need a design, like a user interface and a user experience design, something that people can relate with and be able to navigate properly. So and that is after that, that's when you can then say, okay, I want to use this to convert. So let's just rush to the key elements of content. What's it called? Content strategy. The key elements of content strategy. So the first one is empathize. So for you to be able to design or come up with a design for a whole website or a whole app, you need to be able to empathize. What does empathize mean? Empathize means you want to actually relate with what people are feeling. Okay, this is a web app, or this is a bank app. A bank app. What do I want to do with this app? What's going through the mind of people? How can I solve their problem? You empathizing with what they want to do, and with under that empathizing, you have to do research. You have to do a lot of asking of questions, searching online to really know exactly what the flaw in other existing apps have been. So empathize. The second one is to define. After empathizing, you are now going to define, okay, this is what the problem is. So let's solve it with this. And that's where the ideation and the design comes in, the ideate. So you have to ideate, you have to start bringing in ideas on how to get this thing, done. Then after that, you now start prototyping, bringing in, the connection of the pages and all of that. Then after that, you now have to test when you are done with your design. Test with, with people. You do your survey, and people get back to you on what they think about what you built, and then you keep you go back again to empathize. But then let's just go on because of our time. So the elements now, the key elements that we are now talking about, I'm now going to start them, just 5. So number 1 is the user-centered approach. So the content has to be tailored to the user's needs, behaviors, and pain points. So if you want to design an app that that, okay, this thing is going to be solving problems mostly for elderly people, you need to be able to design something that would suit an elderly person. I was visiting some places over the Christmas period, and I realized that the font size that these elderly people use for their phone, I know many of us can really. They use big, the big font size. So when you are designing for an elderly person, you use a very big font size. You use a color that is very distinct, not that you use orange on white and all of these things, and it won't be clear enough. The second one, information architecture. So your information architecture talks about how your website looks like in terms of how you navigate around the website, moving up and down. So this is where the sidebar will be. This is where, so I know you can see what is beside the text there. That's what talks about how the connection will be on the app, in the app, and all of that. So the information architecture, it has to be on point. The third one is the micro copy and the UX writing. For your UX, you need to be able to craft proper buttons, good error messages, tooltips, onboarding tests, proper things that we direct people want to do. So look at this example that I put now. The first one says, okay, you want to write something, like let's say a footnote or somewhere, and you want to send. You have to use the word that actually catch what you want to do exactly. So if you say submit means so many things. But you are on a website, you want to send something to everybody, then you are publishing. So let's assume that this app that we are looking at is something that has to do with, let's say, a blog. I want to click. After you are done writing, you now want to click. You should not click submit. You should not put submit for that app. You should put publish, so that it will relate and people will be able to catch the user of that website can be able to catch what it is. So tone and voice, defining how the brand communicates, ensuring consistency across all the UI elements. So for example, there are some rules in UI UX. Look at these 2 buttons. If you are using the button on top as what you want to use on your website, maintain it. So you can't use these 2 type of buttons on the same website. So if you are using a round edge button, you are going to stay with that all through the website. If you are going to use a edgy one like the one below, stay with it all through. Do you understand? So that's that. So the 5th one is the content hierarchy. You can see these 2. If everything on your website is just plain and bland, the website will not be okay. But you have to use your hierarchy in distinguishing and making it look finer. You can see these 2, both of them are actually different. They are finer than each other. So that's what content hierarchy can do for you. Multimedia integration, you need to be able to put visuals, things that will actually look nice and good. I have a link here that I want to click to go to, but time will not allow us. So the multimedia integration is very important. You enter some websites, you see some animations here and there. So that's from my own end. Thank you very much for having us. So with your attention.
Yay! Well, thank you so much. That was amazing. Yes, you did actually point out some things that we have to look at and be very conscious of when we are designing, because honestly, this thing is not rocket science, but at the same time it can be. All you just need to know is you need to know who you are designing for, why you are designing for them, and what you are designing for them. It isn't that particularly hard, but it can be. But God help you, you find your way around it. So now, is there anyone that has a question for both speakers? I guess no one does. So I'm going to be asking the question. Now, anyone can answer, or maybe both can answer. What I would ask is, should a designer start with content before wireframing? There's wireframing, and then there is just you going into your research and everything. Some people just go into the research, and then when they are done, they just, up into Figma, then they start designing. Wherever they are designing on, they just start designing. Would you say they should wireframe before designing, or they should just go into designing? And also, do you think storytelling improves user retention in websites?
Okay, can I go ahead and answer that? Okay, basically, I will advise that whenever we are planning to do anything or build any product or brand, content that we are working on should come first before we think of whether we want to do wireframing or anything. So that's that. So because we have levels of wireframing, we have low, we have mid, and we have high fidelity wireframing. So content should come first, because content will determine what the flow will be and how the flow will be. So I will leave the other question to Olutade to answer.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Tadi, can you please answer, what do you think, or do you think that storytelling improves user retention in the hub? Like, a story well put together, does it help the user to actually stay on such app or, website?
Yes, definitely. I was saying the other time that there is a way that what the person sees on the website, yes, can bring you there, but what will keep you on that website is how you can interact with what is happening there. So if on the website a lot of things are just happening everywhere and you don't even know the next place you go, then you are going to get lost. So it's important that on that website you find something actually very interesting, something you can relate and resonate with, to actually keep you there. So it's not about what brought you there, it's about what actually keeps you there and how you interact with the interface. Yeah. So.
Oh, I like that. I like the last line. It is not what brought you there, but what keeps you there. I'm definitely writing that down. So yeah, thank you so much for those eye-opening interactive session. And lastly, before we leave, because we are going to be leaving anytime soon, we have just 11 more minutes. So before we leave, I would love to ask, is there anything at all related to this topic or not that you would wish that other people know? Maybe you yourself did not know it initially, or you didn't get to know it on time, but you would wish other people to know it, just to make their design journey much more seamless.
So as for me, basically, nice question though. I love that question. So when I started my career, my whole focus was just on designing, not looking at the problem part of the design. I've heard the word, designers are problem solvers. They solve problem, they solve business problem. I don't understand. Until a few months ago that I was thinking about something, I was like, this is the problem. So how do I solve this as a designer? So I started thinking more than just the UI that I was thinking. I started seeing myself as the owner of the business, the product owner, and I'm seeing myself as a product manager. I'm seeing myself as a user experience designer. I'm even now seeing myself as the main user of the platform. That if I want to interact with this product, how will I do it? How will I go about it? That's one of the reasons that led me to me thinking around Kuda products. That okay, this is a problem. Let me solve it as a designer. So I will say this, that when I solve that problem, I have one big guy from UK, and he used to check my design and all very well on Instagram. He works at one of the largest fintech company in the UK, and the guy commented on my work that this is so great. I never expected that. So me looking at the problem part of design, problem that a business have, and me trying to solve the problem, give solution to it from the user's perspective, actually help my whole career. So if I want to know, if I'm to start my career today, I will start as a problem solver, like a real problem solver, using design to solve problems for businesses.
Okay, that is absolutely amazing. Like, you just have to look for the problem, because definitely designers are problem solvers. So if there is no problem, there is no solving. So you have to look for the problem first. You have to have a keen eye for searching for problems. It's just like you're looking for trouble that you can troubleshoot. You understand? Well, actually, that is amazing. Really, really amazing. So is there anyone in the house that would love to, ask any question or, say anything at all? I guess nobody has anything to say, which brings us to the end of this meeting. I would love to say a big thank you to the host, Devcheque. God bless you, people. I would love to say a big thank you to the speakers, because literally you gave us a very eye-opening, like Miss Amina said, very eye-opening session. And, thank you. I honestly can't say more than that. Thank you so much. And to every single person that took out a part of their time of the day to join us, to listen to us. You people are the MVPs. Yeah, God bless you guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Actually, I would love to have heard Adetomike's voice. I don't know. How was the session for you, though?
Tola.
Thank you.
It was awesome. I really learned new things. A whole lot of new things. I would just say one. Mr. Tande was saying the other time that it was saying something about you knowing your target audience when you're designing a particular stuff, and then he made an example of the elderly ones, how you have to be careful of the fonts you use. That's something I never would have thought of. So definitely I learned a lot of things.
That's amazing. Like, building on that, at some point I lived with my grandma. So, oh my God, I've seen those heavy fonts in real life. Fonts that you feel, God, do I have to move back to be able to read this? I have seen them. So it's actually made a whole lot of sense. I could relate. There are times that I want to operate on a phone, and then I just have to reset it. Please just go back to medium or small first. And that is, inclusive design. You are including everybody. You are not just making it something that one person or one generation can use. It's cuts across borders, and that makes your work very, very good, honestly. So thank you so much for being here once again. I really appreciate it. Miss Amina, I hope you have a wonderful end of the day. Mr. Olutade, Mr. Bolaji, thank you for being here, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you.